Hello, Libra. Welcome to your September 2020 love and relationship reading. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember this channel is brand fucking new, so it needs all the support it can get. Please remember to like, to comment, and subscribe, as well as follow me on Instagram at claire.voyant.queen and check out my Twitter at _Claire_voyant. Please remember these messages are general, so they may or may not resonate. Please also remember that energy is vice versa, right? This could be about you or this could be about your partner. But thank you so much. I cannot wait to get started. Hi, Libra. Welcome to your September 2020 love and relationship reading. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. I've got my cards. I've got my wine. Let's do it. Let's jump in. Okay. Tell me what's on the board for Libra. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra for September of 2020. 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 Okay, this feels good. Tell me about Libra for September of 2020. Tell me about Libra. Ooh, that one wanted to fall on out. Okay. Dwell on what you love. I've actually never had this card before, so this is a new one for me. Asking someone to change is like pruning a tree. Neither will ever be the same again. Scarier still is that you can't quite know in what new directions they'll grow. I wouldn't change a leaf on you, the universe. Let's try to read that again. Asking someone to change is like pruning a tree. Neither will ever be the same again. Scarier still is that you can't quite know in what new directions they'll grow. I wouldn't change a leaf on you, the universe. Yeah, there's definitely this need to control, to dominate, to manipulate, to change someone or something in your life. I feel like you want to have control. And it feels like you want to control or manipulate someone or change them in some way, but you're so stuck in that headspace, but you're dwelling on what you can't do when you need to be dwelling on what you can do, and dwelling on what you should love and who you should love. Yeah, so there's this need of kind of dwelling on something that's like rock solid, firm. It feels very stable, and it feels like you want to change that. But let's pull some spirit animal cards, and we'll kind of go from here. Let's see. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra. There we go. Tell me about Libra for September of 2020. Tell me about Libra. Libra for September of 2020. Tell me about Libra for September of 2020. Tell me about Libra for September of 2020. Okay. Tell me about Libra for September of 2020. Okay, this feels good. Libra, you are the otter. Okay. Your partner is the bear. Okay. In your emotional connection, we have the cheetah. And in your physical connection, we have the rabbit. Okay. Interesting. Let's go ahead. I've decided to start reading the spirit animal card descriptions directly from the book. I feel like you're going to gain more information, gain more clarity, and then I'll kind of help you connect the dots here. So we're going to start off with the otter. I love otter energy. It's really great to see you in that. One nice thing that never mind. I thought I noticed a little of each element, right? We have a water element, a fire element, and we have 2 earth elements. So we're missing an air element. We're missing you, right? We're missing the air. But that might come up in some like traditional tarot cards or something like that. So let's keep going. But let's find the otter. Ooh, there it is. The otter. Unobstructed joy, playfulness, contentment. Perhaps the most joyful creature within the animal spirit deck, the otter represents absolute bliss. Otter energy is the playfulness of a child, available to us at any age. They have the giddiness and reverence for life itself, without the presence of doubt, worry, or skepticism. Imagine yourself with a little more otter energy. What would life look like? What would it take to bring you there? The otter card begs these questions and wants to transport us to that precious place as soon as possible. The celebration awaits. What would life look like? What would it take to bring you there? The otter card begs these questions and wants to transport us to that precious place as soon as possible. The celebration awaits. I have a feeling that's interesting. I'm kind of getting the impression here that it feels like you might be, right? It feels like your present situation, in your current situation, it feels like you have this need to control or manipulate or change someone or something, right? Something about a situation. And I feel it's probably been incredibly stressful, incredibly, I'm feeling stressful. I'm feeling a little bit agitated. I'm feeling like kind of like negative, like this will never happen, or this is very difficult or very challenging or something of that nature. It feels like you want to manipulate or change someone or something in a situation. And I feel like you're kind of in your head about it. And you're honestly a little bit agitated. But I think what the universe is asking you to do is to stop focusing on it, right? Stop focusing on it and start focusing on what actually makes you happy, right? And I think that's why the otter card is coming up. I think we have 2 cards here, essentially, of like your inner happiness and your inner peace and your inner playfulness, right? It feels like it's wanting you to take a step back from the things or the person you cannot change, and start focusing on you and start focusing on the things that you can change, you know? And it feel like, because when you change your perspective, right, when you change your route, it's going to kind of really put you in a positive, more joyful, more playful mood. So that's going to feel really great. Let's kind of keep going with the bear. Let's see here. The bear. This is the first card in the deck. So you might be dealing with new beginnings, whether it be yourself or your partner or something like that. So the bear is waking up from spiritual slumber, beginning anew. After a long winter, the bear arises from a deep slumber. At first, the movement and the effort are difficult, but the bear knows it's time to awaken and move forward toward the dawning light. The bear card represents an individual on the cusp of new directions and personal transformation. The initial weeks and months of the spiritual quest may feel tricky, cumbersome, and full of obstacles. But you have no choice, bear. Winter wanes, the warmth of spring emerges, and your transformation begins. Interesting. I'm kind of getting two things with this card. I'm kind of getting almost that they might be both a representation of you and a representation of your partner or whoever you're kind of inquiring about when listening to this video. It feels like bears are earthy, right? And generally earth signs are a little bit stubborn, right? They don't like to move. They don't like to work. They don't like to put in the effort. It's very like Taurus, like Taurian. So you might be dealing with a Taurus or you might have a Taurus placement. But it feels like almost you're trying to push, like poke and prod your partner and poke and prod this individual to change, to transform. And it feels like they don't want to, right? It feels like their transformation, yes, does have to occur, but it feels like their transformation has to occur on their own terms, right? It feels like you are not the person to initiate whatever they have to go through. It feels like they have to initiate it themselves, which is interesting. So that's one thing I'm kind of picking up on. The other thing I'm kind of picking up on is that this might be you. This bear energy is kind of like you kind of almost, it feels like you're starting a new chapter, which is not necessarily completely what the bear energy is about, right? But it feels like there's definitely this start of a new chapter, whether it be with you or whether it be with your partner here. Let's keep going. Let's read the cheetah and the emotional connection. Let's see. Whoa, too fast. Okay, the cheetah. So this is your emotional connection. Let's do this. Okay. The cheetah. Solar force, action, achievement, masculine energy. The cheetah is the epitome of solar forces at work. The sun doesn't shine onto the cheetah, it shines from inside this great creature and expands outward to brighten the universe. The energy within the cheetah personality is palpable to others, and they naturally attract an audience to bear witness to their remarkable achievements. Purpose and passion are the best fuel for a cheetah's forward momentum. So if you're lacking in these areas, reconnect to the why before you start running. Yeah, this almost feels more so a card of like, it feels like that jump start, right? It feels like the cheetah is really the card to, remember I was kind of talking about this individual is kind of needs to initiate their own transformation, right? It's something that you cannot initiate for them. It's something that they need to initiate themselves. And essentially you need to stop dwelling on what you can't change. It feels like you're trying to change someone or something. And it feels like this cheetah is very representative of someone kind of finding their inner fire, finding their inner voice, really expressing that and kind of allowing that to be the fuel for the flame, right? What does it say towards the end here? It says, purpose and passion are the best fuel for the cheetah's forward momentum, right? Forward momentum, forward change. So if you're lacking in these areas, reconnect to the why before you start running. So this feels heavily more so about your partner than it feels about you. It kind of feels about like the fire within. It feels like the fire in the belly kind of energy, you know? It feels like it's the drive, the spark to essentially get the project going, get it moving. And then in your physical connection, we have the rabbit here. Interesting. Okay. 1 second. This is the only problem about doing all of these, reading them from the book, is finding all the pages. But I think it's worth it. The rabbit. Afraid of everything, overwhelmed, frozen. The rabbit loves to remind his friends that someday the eagle will swoop down and eat him. He talks and talks and talks about it, so loudly, in fact, that one day the eagle hears and thanks him for the great idea. Rabbit energy is alive when we are scared, most often about the future, and we become our own worst enemy. We spin up a dust cloud of fear and then complain to others that we are lost. Notice your thoughts and your words, oh rabbit. They shape your destiny. I'm honestly getting the impression that this is about you, Libra. It feels very much kind of like a lot of this reading feels like heavily about like accept the things we cannot change and accept the things we can change, right? And kind of almost like shifting a perspective of like negativity, of fear, of agitation, like kind of shifting that energy into like a more positive and welcoming light is how it feels with these cards. Let's pull some traditional tarot and we'll kind of clarify what's already on the board and we'll kind of see what else has to come up. And cheers, bitch. That's good. That's good, Rose. That's good shit. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra for September of 2020. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra. Okay, that was not perfect. Maybe I should stop drinking. I've only had like 3 sips. Tell me about Libra. Tell me about Libra for September of 2020. Tell me about Libra. Okay, ooh, that felt really good. Okay, tell me about Libra for September. Ooh, this wanted to come up. Sometimes I don't want to take all these cards, but then I feel like I have to, you know? Okay. So what just came up, we have the Ace of Swords upright, we have the Six of Swords upright, we have the Page of Cups upright, we have the Sun upright, and we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Kind of give it one more little shuffle. And we have the Knight of Swords. Wow, everything wants to come up for you apparently. Let's give it one more shuffle. God, everything wants to come up for you. Okay, this is the most cards I've had so far. Okay. So Libra, in your current situation, we have the Six of Pentacles. How, what would be the word? Librian? I don't know if that's a thing. Librarian? That's books. That's very you, isn't it? Talking about balance, right? In your partner's current situation, we have the Ten of Cups in reverse. In your past connection, we have the Fool, right? Talking about a new journey. First card of the Animal Spirit deck, first card of the Tarot. Definitely some sort of new journey we're going on here. In your current connection, we have the Nine of Rods in reverse. And in your future connection, we have the King of Swords in reverse. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of shit going on the board here. Let's just kind of start off with the basics because there's a lot of cards. You have 2 major arcana, right? We have the Sun and we have the Fool. The Sun is a representation of Leo energy. The Fool is a representation of Aries energy. So you might have a placement in Leo or Aries, or your partner might have a placement in Leo and Aries. But those cards really wanted to come up. Also, I kind of, again, want to reiterate that the Bear is the beginning of the Animal Spirit deck. The Fool is the beginning of the Spirit Animal deck. So we are definitely dealing with kind of like a new chapter, right? A new journey, whether it be for your person or whether it be for you. Or it can kind of be for both of you. So we have the Six of Pentacles, right? Kind of talking about bringing balance to a situation, which is very Libra. What I'm kind of picking up on right now is I feel like you are agitated, you are nervous in regards to being unable to change someone or something, right? it feels like you want to change someone or something to bring something into balance. So you might have had an argument with this person, you may have had a fight with this individual, there just might be tension, but it kind of feels like you're attempting to bring a relationship or bring a situation into balance is how it feels, right? In your partner's current situation, we have the 10 of Cups in reverse. So again, this is a 10, so we're dealing with a completion energy, right? We're dealing with a kind of final result. This is also talking about, the 10 of Cups upright really talks about emotional fulfillment, right? It's the final card, well, not the final card, but essentially the 10 of the Cups suit, right? So it talks about the finish line. It talks about the end goal. It talks about where everyone wants to be, being emotionally fulfilled, emotionally satisfied with whoever or whatever it is. This might have been a relationship. It feels like it's not a relationship anymore. We do have a couple here. And when it's in reverse, it's talking about still kind of hitting that finish line, hitting that final moment, but not being emotionally fulfilled regarding a situation, right? It feels like there's almost like, it feels like a lack of, it almost feels like it's not what I expected, right? This was all on the board. It was all supposed to be there, and it's not what I expected. Is kind of how it feels. And it feels like if this was a connection, if this was a relationship, it feels like there might have been a breakup, or there might have been essentially a little break. So that's here. In your past connection, we have the Fool, right? So this is saying to me that someone kind of, picked up their shit, walked away, began a new journey, and was very excited, very happy, very spontaneous. There's a little bit of a naivete about the Fool in terms of not knowing and not knowing what to expect along the way. But it's very much this energy of get up and go out there and succeed and really conquer the world, right? I have a feeling that this was your partner. It feels like your partner might have been the one to leave. But it feels like there's this energy of going off on a brand new adventure, a brand new start. One thing that's really interesting here is the Fool, right, really talks about almost this very optimistic energy, right, of kind of beginning anew. And the Bear really talks about not necessarily an optimistic energy, but more so, it's more a little bit hesitant, right? It's you need to get the bear going, right? You need to get the bear going and moving and progressing, right? But the Fool already has that energy. So there might have been kind of some wishy-washy behavior in terms of someone walking away or in terms of someone starting something new. In their current connection here, we have the 9 of Rods in reverse. 9s are very close to 10s, so again, we're kind of on the borderline of completion, right? The final lap, the final mile, the final turn, the final hurdle. And this is kind of, for me, this is kind of my one more once card, right? We are so close, time to put in all the effort, all the energy we have to kind of make it across that finish line. But when it's in reverse, it's kind of this energy of ooh, wow, I just want to say drained. I want to say exhausted. I want to say tired. I want to say I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just calling it quits. It's this energy of just even just saying that, my body felt like it just sank. My heart just sank into my chest is how it felt. It just feels heavy. It feels like you can't finish, you can't progress, right? It feels like you don't want to. So it feels like there's this energy. This could be you, Libra. You could just be really physically drained and mentally drained in the situation. And then in your future outcome, right, we have the King of Swords in reverse, right? This could be you, right? This is definitely a card of an air sign. So we're talking a Libra, we're talking a Aquarius, we're talking a Gemini. And it's someone who's incredibly mature, right? And someone who incredibly intellectual, sometimes cold, sometimes defensive. They don't mean to be cold and defensive, but they really operate by what they think versus how they feel, right? And it being in reverse, I am kind of getting a little bit of a nasty energy with this. It feels very, cutty. It feels like swords cut, right? It's what they do. It's how they work. They cut people out. They cut situations out, right? This to me kind of suggests that someone is like this. I would imagine this is your energy. And I would imagine that maybe you're not thinking completely clearly regarding the situation. Maybe you're kind of like cutting this individual out a little bit cold, a little bit aggressively, or maybe that person's doing that to you. But there's definitely that sort of energy at play here. Okay, so let's take a look at all these cards that came out earlier. Once again, we have the Ace of Swords, we have the Six of Swords, we have the Page of Cups, we have the Sun, we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse, we have the Knight of Swords, and we have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. Pay attention to all of the sword cards we have, right? We have the King of Swords, we have the Ace of Swords, we have the Six of Swords, we have the Knight of Swords, right? That's 4 sword cards. So this is a situation involving a lot of like mental cognition, a lot of thinking, a lot of processing, right? And then pay attention to all of our Pentacle cards. We have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Six of Pentacles, right? So again, it kind of also like, with the bear and the rabbit being very earthy energy, it feels like it's a situation based on stability, based on security. Very interesting. So there might be a lot of air and earth energy in your charts, respectively. Okay, let's see here. This is a lot of effing cards that came out, so this might take me a second here. Yeah, okay, so we have someone essentially... Why am I drawn to this first? Well, this is someone, the Four of Pentacles in reverse really talks about, upright, it really talks about a greedy energy. It talks about a hoarding energy. It's someone like taking, and they're taking security, and they're taking stability, and they're taking like financial monetary values, and they're taking like materialistic goods and possessions, right? They're taking, they're hoarding. But when it's in reverse, we've had this card come out a couple times for a couple reads. But when it's in reverse, gravity is going to let those pentacles fall, right? And they're going to give. It's kind of an act of like releasing what we have. It feels very like philanthropic, right? It feels like very like giving, right? I have a feeling this is you, or I'm getting the impression that this is your energy of kind of giving. And it feels like you might be giving in order to bring balance to the situation, right? Also going off this Three of Pentacles that's here, right? We go from a Three of Pentacles to a Four of Pentacles. Both happen to be in reverse, right? So Three of Pentacles really talks about working together, collaborating, teamwork, working as a group to essentially complete a project or a task, right? In this case, even though he's by his lonesome, which is kind of interesting, right? That's kind of being highlighted to me that there's no actually other people in this card, but he's by himself working on this chapel, right? It's the indication of working together to complete a project, but when it's in reverse, that project is not getting completed because there's a lack of coming together. Sorry guys, my camera ran out of memory, but we're gonna keep going with this. So it feels like there's been the kind of this lack of collaboration with other people, right? And because there's been a lack of collaboration with other people, it kind of feels like you've been giving. So you might be giving to a situation that hasn't necessarily yielded a result, or it hasn't necessarily brought people together to complete something larger. And I feel like because of this, you're really looking to bring balance to the situation, right? You're really looking to pull something from someone. It feels like you want to pull something from someone. I'm really getting the impression that you have earth energy in your chart. I feel like all these earth cards are kind of coming together, and it feels like they're all really about you. So you might have, again, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn in your chart. But let's keep kind of going with this theme and see what we have here. So there's this lack of collaborating, a lack of coming together for a larger goal, right? Larger purpose. And I feel like you're really trying to, in order to bring that to balance, you're really trying to change someone or change something. Then over here, let's see. We have a lot of interesting cards over here. A lot. I feel like this is you, right? The Six of Swords. Six of Swords really talks about someone who's very mentally clear, mentally stable, mentally focused, right? And they're really leaving the rough waters of a uncomfortable, rocky situation, and they're heading towards the still waters of something a little bit more stable, right? It's kind of like leaving one situation to enter a new situation. It's a very transitionary card. And you're kind of leaving the drama behind, right? It feels like you're leaving the drama behind. And it feels like it's related to this King of Swords energy. I'm kind of coming back to this King of Swords. It doesn't necessarily feel as cold as I felt it before. It feels more so that someone's getting cut out, right? There's been like a cut, right? Whether it be with this individual, whether it be with the situation, it feels like some sort of energy is being cut out and someone's kind of walking away is how it feels. Again, this kind of feels like your energy. I'm really getting the impression that this is you, and it feels good. It feels good for you. It feels really healthy for you, is what it feels like. I really enjoy it. I really like it. And I feel like a lot of these other cards are what's going to happen, like what's going to come when you move away, right? So we have the Ace of Swords here, we have the Page of Cups, and we have the Sun. I really want to focus on the Ace of Swords and the Sun really quick. Ace of Swords really talks about, right, a brand new beginning. We have this another theme of a brand new beginning, right? And it's going to be a very stable beginning. It's going to be a very honest beginning. It's going to be a very like thoughtful decision that was made, right? It feels very cognitive. It feels very clear. It feels like a right start and a right path. The Ace of Swords also represents truth, right? Represents like everything that is known, and so does the Sun, right? The Sun talks about illumination. The Sun talks about illumination, like of dark, shadowy corners, and really bringing things to light. Look how many references we have to the Sun here. We have one Sun, we have two suns on the bear, we have three suns emanating from the cheetah, right? There's a lot of Sun that's playing into this energy, a lot of like positive, like energetic, like vibration, right? So it feels like there was some sort of truth that was probably revealed about the situation, whether it be something that you're I wanted to say that you're intuitively picking up on. That's interesting. You might be intuitive, but I'm getting the impression that someone is intuitive here. Yeah. There might be some sort of truth that's kind of coming out about the situation that's really allowing you to walk away from the situation, right? That's really allowing you to stop giving, and really to bring things into balance, which is really beautiful. And then we have this Page of Cups here, and this Page of Cups really talks about, pardon me, I have OCD. I don't know if I've said that before, but I have severe OCD. So I really want to like put all these cards in the correct spot. But this Page of Cups really talks about like an emotional message, right? This is someone who's relatively immature. This is probably your person, BT dubs. They could be a water sign, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. Traditionally in our own readings, we will kind of come out as like, you being an air sign will come out as the king, right? And your partner will come out as something a little bit more like immature, like the page, right? Because pages go to knights, knights go to queens, and queens go to kings, right? Kings being the most mature. So this is really talking about someone kind of coming forward with some sort of emotional message here. it might be an emotional message that kind of helps you walk away. Now I'm kind of getting the impression that this emotional message has to do with some sort of honesty. It's emotional, honest communication. It doesn't feel like negative or aggressive. It feels like raw, emotional, honest truth, right? And I feel like it's kind of coming through to allow you to stop giving, to bring things into balance, and to move away, right? Move away, move away. And it feels like, honestly, what I'm kind of getting the impression of is whatever you move towards is incredibly positive, right? This is how the cards came out, right? And he's moving towards the sun, which is like one of the most positive cards in the deck, right? You might be moving toward a Leo. But there's kind of this aspect of you letting something go to really kind of move forward to something a lot more stable, a lot more calm is how it feels. Feels really good, feels really strong. Keep in mind too that when we were pulling these original cards, right, we had the otter come out and it talked about blissful happiness. I want to read you that line because I feel like that line's very important. I feel like you probably will really resonate with this line. Is what my intuition's saying. Here we go. Remember. I'm just going to read the full thing. Perhaps the most joyful creature within the animal spirit deck, the otter represents absolute bliss, right? The sun card. Otter energy is the playfulness of a child available to us at any age. They have the giddiness and reverence for life itself without the presence of doubt, worry, or skepticism, which is currently the rabbit, doubt, worry, and skepticism. Imagine yourself with a little more otter energy. What would life look like? What would it take to bring you there? They're asking you to move away from this doubt, worry, and skepticism to move towards the playfulness of a child, giddiness and reverence for life itself, right? They're asking you to make that transition, to move, to progress, to transition. What would life look like? What would it take to bring you there? The otter card begs these questions and wants to transport us to that precious place as soon as possible. The celebration awaits. There is good things on the horizon for you, Libra. There's very good things, but you cannot seek those. You cannot come in contact with those until you really stop dwelling on what you cannot change and really focus on what you can change, which is yourself. Right? Which is your perspective, which is you walking away from someone or something towards something incredibly positive. Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. And then again, our final card, the Knight of Swords, right? I almost kind of feel like, ooh, this is interesting. Sometimes when these cards pop out, like the suit cards pop out of the same suit, kind of makes me think of like growing up or a transition to, right? This could be your present energy, this Knight of Swords here, really talking about someone who's kind of non-committal, right? Who's kind of in 1 minute, out the next, who's kind of thinking very light, very fast on his toes, kind of like flying in very fast intellectual, cognitive energy, very quick. It kind of makes me think that you're almost growing up. I'm getting the impression that someone's like growing up, someone's maturing, someone's kind of thinking differently. And because you're thinking differently, you're kind of cutting something or someone out of your life that was probably not changing, not transitioning, right? Because they need to initiate their own transformation here, is what it feels like. Yeah, it feels like these cards are you. It feels like I feel like you're kind of going through your own personal transformation of like viewing things a little bit differently in this connection is how it feels. But Libra, I want to stop it at that because I don't want to keep you for too long. But thank you so much for checking out your September 2020 reading. Cheers. I'll see you next month. Bye.